Hey, it's Kim Commando Today, your daily podcast to keep you up to date with all things digital and beyond. And I'd love to have you be a part of our podcast. You can make an appointment to speak with me. Just head over to commando.com, and on the top right, there's a button that says Email Kim. Fill that out, and that's it. So what would you say to a guy who's retired, living in the Midwest, who is convinced beyond all doubt that Betty Witherspoon, Reese Witherspoon's mother, is looking for Reese's perfect husband? And so she has reached out to this guy, this 70-year-old guy in the Midwest, to say, you are going to be the perfect man for my daughter. Yes, Reese. Yeah, I'm sure you've heard of her. She's like, an A-list celebrity, and she's a billionaire. But you know what? She's having trouble finding people in Hollywood. But I really think that you're going to be the guy for her. And so this man says, oh, it's my lucky day. I mean, here I am sitting on Facebook doing nothing, drinking my coffee, and it looks like I might have a chance at Reese Witherspoon. So Betty, who's obviously fake, puts him together with a fake Reese Witherspoon. And they go back and forth and back and forth. And he's convinced beyond a doubt that Reese is the woman for him that he's been waiting for his entire life. So here we have a clip of what Reese sent this man.
Hello, Nolan. I just make this short video. Make sure you trust me. This is me, Reese. I love you so much with all my heart. You need to make the payment so that you can get your check from my mom, okay?
Yeah, okay. You need to make the payment, okay? That should be a big red flag right there, okay? That there's something really wrong going on. So, we have a great friend of the show, and he's huge on YouTube. His name is Kitboga. He's got, 3.5 million YouTube subscribers. A gazillion subscribers and followers on Twitch. Hey, Kit, thanks for being here. So do you think he's really going to marry Reese Witherspoon?
Absolutely not. Although some of the scammers will try to convince you there's going to be a marriage ceremony. I've talked to a few on Facebook before that have even gone through the lengths of pretending to get married over the phone with me.
Oh, really?
But unfortunately, there are just millions and millions of fake celebrity accounts. And I've heard that exact script. The video you played, I've had that happen to me. I don't know if you caught it. Did you hear? She said, "Make sure you trust me." Which isn't
I didn't notice that.
English.
No, I didn't notice that.
So even the deep fake looks pretty good, but since the scammers have to decide what's going to be said, they didn't quite properly use English grammar and sentences when they were doing it.
Can we play that clip again? Because I want to.
Hello, Nolan. I just make this short video. Make sure you trust me. This is me, Reese. I love you so much with all my heart. You need to make the payment so that you can get your check from my mom, okay?
Yeah, you know what? And I'll tell you something, Kit. We've tried to talk to him, off the air. And he does not want to know the truth. I mean, he really is convinced that he's going to be with Reese Witherspoon, okay? And when we tried to tell him that this is not going to happen, he actually just hung up.
Well, I think to some degree there's this, I don't know if we call it a loneliness epidemic, but
yeah, it is.
If you imagine these scammers talk to you every day. And so when I've done this, when I've made fake accounts pretending to be, say, a Midwest woman looking for love, every single day, they call this love bombing. These scammers will be messaging you saying, "Good morning, sweetheart. I love you. I was dreaming about you last night." And if there's not too many other people that you're having that close connection with or conversation with.
That's true.
And now you're talking to them every day and they care about you.
Yeah. You know what? You're right. Because it's finally somebody in the world actually is okay. And they want to know if you got up that morning and if you're going to have a wonderful day. And it probably makes them feel a little pumped up too, that there's somebody there.
Yeah. The other thing I think some folks forget about is since these scammers are doing it at scale with hundreds, if not thousands of potential victims, they know what works. And so they're saving the messages that they sent to somebody that got them to send the payment. And they save that in their repertoire of kind of like, these are the perfect messages to convince someone that I love them, or to convince someone that I'm getting money.
And so, what other type of deep fake scams are you seeing out there?
Yeah. I think the big one, partially because it's a little bit easier to do than the video deepfakes, is voice cloning. So you can, with about 15 seconds, sometimes even less, of audio clips, you can steal someone's voice and make them say whatever you want. So there's a classic scam nicknamed the grandparent scam, which is a general scheme where scammers will call and say, something happened to your grandkids. Maybe they got in a car accident, or there's some legal trouble. They need your help. Wire $5,000 or else they're going to be in prison for the rest of their life. Well, now they can play a clip of your grandson pleading for help just based off of a couple Instagram reels that they posted. It's really scary.
It is frightening, especially for it only takes, like you said, just a couple of seconds and $10, right? And then all of a sudden
Yeah.
you have a complete clone and you just type in exactly what you want to see. And what grandparent wouldn't sit there and go like, oh my gosh, it's little Johnny. I mean, I got to make sure that he's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
and if I can help, and he doesn't want me to tell his parents, but if I can help him, I'm certainly going to do that. And so, of course,
Mhm.
the advice there is that, you want to call little Johnny, right? And say, what exactly is going on?
Yeah. I talked to a victim of a romance scam just yesterday, and they said, I asked them the typical question of, well, did you talk to this person in real life? Did you meet them recently? And they said, yes, we talk every day. I said, no, in person. Did you talk to them in person? And I had even forgotten about deepfakes in the moment, because they said, yeah, we video chat every day. And it sounds just like them. And this was a famous actor, again, that they were
For sure.
impersonating. And I'm realizing, oh no, even the typical advice of saying, well, do you talk to them over the phone? Do
Yeah.
you video chat with them? Now that advice, you have to throw that out the window, because these scammers they can do it now. They can sound just like whoever they're pretending to be.
Yeah. And it seems like, that as time goes on, especially using AI, things are getting a lot easier for the scammers, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if you think about what you can do with AI, I don't know how much you use the large language models or to in your everyday life,
You know what?
but
I use them all the time. I mean,
okay.
let me tell you something else, Kitboga. I am almost using it a little too much. Because, like, I'll get a text message from somebody and say, like, oh, the boat's in the yard and all this other stuff. And and I'm like, I just paste that into chat, go, okay, give me a nice response back and say thank you. And,
Oh no.
and also, and throw in a few emojis too. I'm like, yes, done.
Yes.
Okay.
And it does it. They do so good with conversations, but as the LLMs, as the chat GPTs of the world are growing and in knowledge, now all of the traditional advice gets thrown out the window. So even what I just did, where I said, did you notice how that deepfake in the beginning, they said, I just make short video, make sure you trust me. Well, some of these scammers are smart enough now to throw that script into something like a chat
Yeah.
GPT. And now the script has proper English, and it has a wealth of human knowledge to think about, how can I, schmooze or flirt with this potential victim. So email scams, all kinds of phishing campaigns are now starting to look even better and sound better, and don't have all these errors in it that people are used to looking out for.
So, are there telltale signs? I mean, so if you get a video, I mean, obviously that one was fake. I mean, you could tell just
Yeah.
by looking at
Yeah.
Reese Witherspoon. That's not her. Her face is like kind of warped a little bit, and the
Hmm.
tone, the inflection, robotic. Send me the money. I mean, that's just a
Yeah.
big red flag there. But are there other ones that maybe we should be looking out for?
Yeah. Specifically for AI and deepfakes.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, in general, right now, the example you showed is great, because that's like a very common example. typically they're not done live, although they can be done live. That one was likely a recording that the scammers are using over and over again. They're just like pasting it into Facebook chats. And one thing I notice a lot is the face will be moving and the mouth might match the words, but a lot of the other elements in the visual aren't moving. So there's one clip, and maybe I can send it to you guys, where Brad Pitt is talking to me. Well, sorry, fake Brad Pitt is talking to me, and his mouth and face is very animated, but his body is like dead still. It's almost chilling and awkward how he looks. So that's definitely one red flag, is just watching for movement, and does it seem lifelike? But I think we take that stuff for granted. Like in our conversation right now, I don't know how much we're paying attention to. Is Kit's entire body moving?
Yeah, that's true.
Or is he fake?
I'm always looking for ways to keep you safe on your devices. Did you know that there's malware out there that records every single thing that you type? It's called a keylogger, and it's one of the sneakiest ways that hackers steal passwords, credit card numbers, and private info. Scary, right? That's where Endpoint Lock comes in. Think of it like a secret vault for your keyboard. It encrypts or scrambles every keystroke that you type. Even if a hacker is trying to spy on you, all they'll see is uncrackable gibberish. It works quietly in the background on your devices, protecting you every time you log into your bank, shop online, or send a private email. Keyloggers are more common than you might think, but with Endpoint Lock, they don't stand a chance. Go to endpointlock.com/Kim. They're offering an exclusive deal just for my listeners. Get 10% off a monthly or yearly subscription using code KIM10. That's endpointlock.com/Kim using code KIM10 for 10% off a monthly or a yearly plan. Endpointlock.com/Kim, endpointlock.com/Kim. But, in that clip that I showed, they actually called the guy by his first name. And so they customize it a little bit so maybe it feels right.
Yeah, absolutely. It's scary, but I think little things like grammar for now is a common mistake. Movement is a common mistake, but unfortunately, it's only going to get worse. Like you've probably seen AI images. They were originally really bad at generating fingers.
Oh my gosh, I know.
A lot of people would say.
I actually, if you look at my Instagram profile picture, I leave it there just because it was AI generated. And if you look at my eyes, they are like this piercing blue. It's like, where did she get those eyes? And I think I have 2 ears on one side. I mean, you're right. It used to be really bad.
Yeah, but it's getting better. And I think what's difficult in this day and age is it's a race, particularly with these like bad threat actors, these scammers and fraudsters, where like how do you possibly keep up with technology and keep educating people and saying, like, obviously you're doing a good job of trying to inform your listeners, your viewers, but it's so much to keep up with.
It's a ton.
Like next week there's going to be something new that comes out, or a new technique for deepfakes, or a new technique for AI. And so I feel like there has to be more technology and more innovation done about taking the guesswork out. So like regular everyday people don't have to worry as much about, is this actually Brad Pitt? I mean, if I could really quickly say, I think platforms like Facebook or different social media places should absolutely be held accountable or held to a higher standard of, I mean, I scrolled for 15 minutes the other day, Kim. I typed in Brad Pitt on Facebook, and 15 minutes straight, I scrolled, and it's all just fake Brad Pitt accounts.
Oh gosh!
And to me, that's just grossly negligent.
No, they should be able to take those down. I mean, if they have the algorithms to know that I want to hike in Patagonia next year, I mean, okay,
yes,
they should be able to figure out that Brad Pitt, talking to Betty or Jane or whoever it may be is just a total bogus thing. But, Facebook, they always come back and they say, oh, we just can't do it because we don't have the resources. I mean, really?
Oh, gosh.
Come on.
What gets me is they have some of the state of the art AI models. Like I'm even using some of Facebook's, like some of Meta's AI for different projects that I'm working on. And they're incredible. And they're like leading the space in some ways. And so for them to say, we can't possibly do this, is it just feels like a lie, because you have some of the most talented
For sure.
engineers and innovators in the world.
And you're
So of
making
course you
like
can solve this
and you're making
problem.
like trillions of dollars just saying.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
So you
Yeah.
mentioned that you're using, is it Meta.ai? Is that the tool that you're using?
Not specifically, but there's different models that people build. Like, people are often familiar with things like Meta.ai or Chat GPT, but there's different large language models behind each one of them,
Hmm.
and there's, I don't know, thousands, and there's even competitions about which one can, pass law school tests and which ones can graduate high school faster and all these sorts of things. Difficult to keep up with.
So what kind of tools are you using?
Yeah. Well, mostly we're kind of making our own. And so we're able to, if you're a developer of sorts, you can gain access to these models that you can do what's called inferencing on, or you can kind of build your own chat GPT, if you will. So like one project that we've been working on for the past couple of years is, what if we could basically make a conversational bot that would talk on the phone,
Okay.
like I do every day. I mean, I
Right.
call scammers all the time, and we thought to ourselves, well, geez, we could just take my library of conversations with scammers, and we know voice cloning exists. We could clone my voice, or my, elderly characters' voices,
You do
and
such a
then
great job at that. You do, by the way.
build a bot to, like, build AI to call scammers. So uh, that's been like one big push for us over the past couple of years, because I see automation and AI, like, to effectively combat scams at scale. Like, we have to be able to scale it. I'm just one guy. And
Right.
Kim, even if you and I both called these scammers all day long, like if we just set the rest of the day we called scammers, they would still be there. I have hundreds of numbers that are active right now, and you and I would never be able to call them all. I feel like we need an army.
Yeah. So that's interesting. So to have a scam bot.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to build like a, essentially someday I hope to have an army of these um clones of me, almost, that can call scammers and talk to them.
How is that working for you?
Yeah, right now we've been doing like a lot of preliminary tests. It's been about 4 years that we've been working on it. So in the beginning, it was more of a pipe dream, and it would take a lot of time for a computer to synthesize text. I mean, if you imagine giving a paragraph of text and telling a computer, now make it sound like me, is difficult, and it takes a lot of computational power. But that was 4 years ago. And so so much has happened to where now everything we were doing a couple of years ago was to try to see how fast we could generate
Yeah, for sure.
speech.
Hmm.
Because our conversation right now, we're talking in real time and we're responding to each other quickly. Now, these models and computers can generate speech so quickly that I actually have to add padding. I have to I have to stop the bot from responding too fast,
Oh, wow.
because it'll listen to what you're saying and understand the intention behind what you're saying and want to respond and interrupt you, but it feels very unnatural. So we've definitely come a long way. We've even
And,
had some. Oh, go ahead.
no, I was
Sorry.
going to say, and so are you programming in the pauses, or you're telling it, you need to relax a little bit with your conversation,
Yep.
and have some more empathy, and at this point, you should be angry, you need to be upset, those sorts of
Yeah, we
things?
haven't done we're experimenting with like empathy and anger, and maybe I can show you that
Yeah,
actually.
I'd love it.
You might. Oh, sorry if
Announcement.
you hear my phone call. This is a scammer calling me
Announcement.
right now. One second.
Oh, that's great. We should take it.
I apologize. Oh, I hung up. If another one calls, we'll
Okay.
take it.
That's funny. I got a
Um,
scammer call me right now.
yeah, I should actually probably turn it off. But the what was I saying? Oh, yeah, maybe I can show you. We're testing right now where we can kind of inject. If you, maybe that's too technical of a term. We're testing right now the ability for us to, while the bot is running, to sort of influence it. So we could say, you should be a little bit more angry right now, or the mailman is at the front door, and then the bot has a chance to respond. But we're pretty consistently getting like 15-minute phone calls.
Wow, that's awesome.
Well, I think our record currently is about 40 minutes. One scammer was on the phone with this AI for 40 minutes. The only reason it stopped is because we had a bug called a memory leak in our code, which basically the longer the bot was running, the more memory we were consuming on our computer. And after 40 minutes, I just run out of memory and the computer crashed. So we've since fixed that code, but yeah, he would have just kept going. I mean, and to me, that's like the joy of it, is if I can find scammers who are they're reading their script, they're ready to try to find any target who's willing to have a conversation with them on the phone and convince them that they're talking to a unsuspecting victim, then it's a win.
Can we hear a little bit of it?
Yeah, I was thinking if you want that you could even we could just call it and you could talk to it.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Of interest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe. So the thing is, Kim, it's set up to be the perfect victim, or sometimes it's goofy and witty, but you would have to essentially be a scammer. I don't know if you're willing to do that, but you would have to pretend to be the scammer.
Okay, I don't know if I'd be a good scammer, but I can try.
Yeah, I mean, I could give you a couple tips. Like, for example, one really common scenario that we run against is what's called a refund scam. So you'll get an email or a text that says you were just charged $500 via your PayPal account or for your Norton. Have you seen these? Like
Yes. Yeah.
Geek Squad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so they want you to call and say that you absolutely didn't buy this product. There's no way you'd pay $700 for this thing. I want my money back. So that's what the scammers are going to be doing. They're going to be saying, "Hi, welcome to Norton. How can I help you today?" And then ultimately they're going to say, if you want to cancel your services, I need to connect to your computer. So just go to this website or something like that. So if you're willing to pretend to be
I'll try
a
it.
scammer.
Yeah, I've never been a scammer. Okay. I can try it. I can't say it's going to be something I want to put on my CV, but that's all right.
Yeah.
The most valuable app that you can have on your phone in 2025 is Upside. No other app out there gives you the power to earn more like Upside does. Whether you're filling up your tank, going out to eat, or shopping for groceries, the Upside app gives you opportunities to earn cash back on every purchase, which you would have to buy anyway. Top earners on Upside get as much as $300 in cash back every month. There are over 100,000 gas stations, grocery stores, and restaurants on the Upside app, ensuring that cashback is always just around the corner. It's easy to use everywhere I go. And yes, it's real cash back. No confusing rewards, points, or credits. Just actual money you can transfer right into your bank account. Download the free Upside app and use promo code KIMK to get an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas. That's an extra 25 cents back using promo code KIMK. Download the Upside app right now and be sure to use the promo code KIMK.
Let's see.
Thank you for answering. I'm getting a little frazzled about this email I got saying I owe $752. Can you please help me figure out what's going on?
Well, you made a purchase, and we have it in our records. It's all documented that you wanted to have the Geek Squad come out, fix your computer. You're complaining that it wasn't connecting to your Wi-Fi. The printer wasn't working. And, we have all the receipts that our folks were there, and you were happy when they left.
Hold up. I don't think I made any purchase. I'm an 80-year-old woman from New Jersey. I don't know what kind of computer wizardry you're talking about. I don't even know how to fix a printer. Can you please tell me what's going on?
What happened, and I don't know what the problem is, but what happened is that you called us, the Geek Squad, because you have a Windows computer, and it crashed. And once the computer crashed, you didn't know what to do. So you called us. We sent out our technicians to your house there in New Jersey. and you let us in. We fixed the computer for you. And then while we were there, that's when you said that your Wi-Fi was slow and your printer didn't work. And so we made everything all good for you. And so that's the reason why you got this invoice. And I don't understand why you're not going to pay it.
I don't remember making a call, and I'm quite sure I wouldn't pay someone to fix my computer. And what's with the Bitcoin charge? I'm not even sure what that is. Can you please cancel this invoice 25478 and refund me? I want to get to the bottom of this.
If you wait 1 second, Kim, this one's set up assuming that it got an email with a particular invoice, that invoice number that it just heard. So perhaps, now it's here. Can you see it? Here's me talking.
Yes.
I forgot. Oops.
Hey, but you know
perhaps
what?
If you
good.
Say, oh, go ahead.
No, it's good.
Yeah, I mean,
I think I got an email about an invoice, and it's got a number. Let me.
We can always call it back if we want.
But you know, the voice is great.
It's actually trained off of.
I have a character like this where I don't know what the accent is. It's something in between. I left my khakis in the car park, and
I don't know what the accent is. It's trained off that.
You know, I when she said she was from New Jersey, I have an aunt in New Jersey that sounds just like that.
Really?
I do. Her name's Evelyn. If you want to give her a name, you can just say Evelyn.
Okay. Yeah, we've been experimenting with a lot of different names and backgrounds. So, for example, we have one character that we named Beverly for no particular reason. But if you're familiar with these LLMs, well, you can kind of construct what you call a prompt and give it a background. So you were talking about using a lot of emojis earlier in your reply. So just like that, we can say, well, you're a 81-year-old woman from New Jersey, but you always speak in rhymes and you love limericks.
Oh, no.
Which is absurd, right? But then when it's having a conversation with these scammers, it's going to start speaking in rhymes. But similarly, you could say something like, you're really gullible, you always trust people, or you could say you often get angry. So we've been experimenting with those, and sometimes I could send you guys a clip. We have one where Beverly is just really passive aggressive and saying this is taking so long. I can't believe I've been on the phone for 5 minutes. And the scammers start swearing and getting really angry. And that's probably my favorite experience so far, is having scammers genuinely angered by a robot.
Looking to bring back that natural glow, the one that you had when you were younger? Take the protein-packed Path with Native Path Collagen. Native Path is scientifically proven to help increase bone density, assist in cartilage regrowth, smooth out wrinkles, strengthen nails, and add thickness to your hair. It also helps in the recovery process and can improve your gut health. Starting in our 30s, collagen levels dip, but the right supplement can make all the difference. I chose Native Path Collagen because it's fast-absorbing, pure, and effective, with just one clean ingredient. No GMOs, fillers, gluten, dairy, sugar, sweeteners, or junk, and it's so easy to use. It blends into coffee, smoothies, oatmeal, you name it, without lumps or weird flavors. You're going to see a difference with Native Path Collagen. Here's the deal. Get up to 45% off and free shipping on Native Path Collagen today at getnativepath.com/Kim. That's getnativepath.com/Kim.
And so how many different characters do you have now, and how many are you going to have in the future?
Yeah, right now we just have 2, and that's mostly because that we focus on, because we've trained it off of my voices, and I have the most. Even though you can clone someone's voice and say 10, 15 seconds of audio, it's not always the best. You typically need a little bit more audio. But we've had some people in the community who watch my videos send us recordings of themselves or their family members at Thanksgiving or something, and say, hey, would you be willing to train my grandma essentially to as one of the voices, which I think is a really fun idea. Maybe your grandma or yourself could be one of the voices.
That would be funny. That would be funny.
Yeah.
Obviously there's an expense in putting all this together. Is it a lot?
Um, it's relative. It's all relative. But my goal in this is to fight back, not just to like raise awareness about the scams, but really hurt their bottom line. And I've kind of operated, I've been doing this 7 years now, and kind of just said, well, if I put good into the world and I make funny videos and I do things to help, it's gonna work out. And so far, Kim, it's worked out.
Awesome.
And I've been able to build a team of people, and now I'm hiring developers for this project. Currently, there is no, income from the project, but maybe someday we'll find someone who wants to like come alongside us and join the fight. I think eventually we have some ideas for it that I
Mhm.
can't share because it's not public yet. But yes, hiring AI engineers and spending time on this certainly has a price.
Yeah, but you know what? How great would that be, though? I mean, for you
Yeah,
to just to have like this whole kit army,
yeah,
out there, uh,
yeah. To
taking
me, that's like
taking some of them down.
it, yeah. To me, it's like totally worth it. And we've been pretty casual about it for the first couple of years, but recently we've been really aggressive with trying to finish it.
To me, it seems like the amount that people are getting scammed seems to be going much higher. I mean, I remember in the beginning it was like $500, $300 in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I had a guy on the air with me last week, $200,000. I mean, in
No.
a pig butchering scam. There's a
Yeah.
woman that I'm about to talk to, $600,000, her retirement fund, all gone. Have you noticed that the amounts are getting higher and higher too?
Oh, yes. I think the scammers are getting so aggressive. When I started, I distinctly remember the first time a scammer said they built up all these hackers and problems with my computer, and it was very elaborate, and they sounded so professional. And then they said, so I need you to go buy a Sephora gift card. And it's almost comical
Right.
because like, why would this experienced Microsoft engineer who's fixing my hacked computer ask me to go to Sephora? Right. But now they're realizing if I can gain access to someone's computer, if I can get on their, like, maybe even see their 401k accounts and really guide them through the process of converting all of that money to crypto or buying gold bars or whatever it ends up being, like, they're not messing around anymore with $500 gift cards. It's like a whole criminal enterprise, and they realize I can just take everything
Well, this
from these
gal with
people.
the $600,000, um, it was all taken out of her Morgan Stanley retirement account.
Wow.
And so she would go to Morgan Stanley and say, I want to take some money out. And they would say, you know what, we think that you're getting scammed. So she went and talked to the scammer and said, they won't give me the money because they say I'm being scammed. And so at one
Yeah.
point, the scammer said, tell them that you bought an Airbnb in Tennessee and you're remodeling it and show them all these receipts. So the
Yep.
scammer sent her all these receipts, uh, for an Airbnb, non-existent, obviously, in Tennessee,
Yep.
and so that the Morgan Stanley people would give her the money. At some point, she was taking cash out, $20,000 worth of cash, and then
Hmm.
meeting somebody in a shopping center,
Yeah.
to give them the cash
Wow.
through a dark window.
Perhaps the person she was meeting, was it perhaps um like Uber or some kind of, like, these people don't even know that
Yeah,
they're
yeah. Oh, you know what?
involved?
That's happening too. I don't know. It may have been where they just,
Yeah.
send a courier to go do a pickup in a shopping mall, and they don't know
Yeah,
what they're
sometimes
doing.
we see that. We had a case where law enforcement was saying, yeah, someone was showing up every week to collect a package, and it was just some kind of innocent person who worked for one of these delivery, or kind of like, ride the deliver your food type apps. Well, they also pick up packages, and so they had no idea that this person was literally putting like gold in a box,
Yeah.
and then they were shipping that to scammers. Can I ask him, unless it's too private for this individual, like, what was was it a pig butchering scheme,
No,
or how
it
did this
was
person?
that, you're not going to believe this, that they were calling from the FBI
Yeah.
And they needed her help to bring down the Mexican cartel,
Wow.
and they needed to move her money into a safer location because the Mexican cartel was targeting her retirement. I mean, it's just this whole
Okay, so they were targeting her.
this whole convoluted
Okay.
story that you're just like,
Yeah.
how
Huh.
how can you even think that
Well, it's like
this
you
is good?
have to have some kind of, like when you're telling, because the scammer telling you to lie to your financial institution, like think about psychologically what you must be going through to where you trust this scammer. Well, you don't think it's a scammer
Right.
to lie to your, retirement account
Yeah.
folks.
They
You
also
must be wrapped up in something elaborate. Yeah.
they also told her that to tell Morgan Stanley that she wanted to move her money out of there to a couple of banks so it was be diversified and it would be
Okay.
closer to her, so in case she needed it. And
Yeah.
so Morgan Stanley, they're sitting there saying like, hey, we warned her. We told her
Hmm.
that this wasn't happening. But I think it goes back to really what we started talking about in the beginning is loneliness. I
Yeah.
also spoke to a guy in his probably like late 30s,
Hmm.
whose mom in her 70s is convinced that she's in love with a 26-year-old guy in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Okay, broke up the marriage, 45 years married, because she believes that this guy's going to come to the United States and they're going to live happily ever after. And like you said, she talks to him morning, noon, and night. Uh,
Wow.
and the son's been trying to tell her like she's getting scammed for years, until now he's like,
And she knows that he's out of the country.
yes. Oh, she
Okay.
knows. And the son actually
Wow.
tracked down where the scammer is operating out of. It's a hair salon in Nigeria.
No kidding.
And then spoke to the scammer's brother who said, yeah, this is what he's doing. So the son presents all this to his mom. And of course, he doesn't know how much money has been sent, but presents all this to his mother.
Yeah.
And the mother doesn't talk to him for 2 months. So then the mother calls him, says, I showed this guy all the evidence and that
Hmm.
he really looks like he's a scammer. And you know what he told me? And the son's like, what? He said that you were right. He used to be a scammer, but he's not a scammer anymore.
Oh no.
He's
Yeah.
turned over a new leaf.
But when you spend, would you say years
Yes.
talking to this person, like you develop a connection with them? Oh, it's devastating.
Yeah, it
I mean,
is.
one of the first things scammers ask me, either via texting or over the phone, they'll almost always weave into the conversation, are you alone?
Oh,
Like, are you married? Are you alone? Do you live with anyone? Can you drive? With these weird kind of questions, but you and I understand that they're trying to essentially profile you. Like, are you a good target?
oh, for
Because
sure.
if you live with a bunch of people, or your your young grandson lives with you in your basement, well, the chances of me being able to manipulate you go way down, and maybe I should spend my time on somebody else. Interestingly, I one of the other tools that we've developed is this fake crypto exchange, and we've been able to manipulate some of the scammers into giving us GPS access to their phone because they believe that I am mailing them a package,
Oh,
just like the scammer, using their exact same tactics but turning it around. You mentioned a hair salon. This would be a crazy turn of events, Kim, but one of these scammers that I was talking to in Nigeria also frequented a hair salon. So it would
really?
be very interesting. It'd be crazy, but it'd be interesting if it was the same scammer. Maybe we could talk about that later.
Yeah, because this guy, he did tremendous. I mean, how he found out it was a hair salon is that he looked at a photo
Yeah.
and there was a license plate, and he did a lot of forensics in order to
Okay.
figure out, like, it was. I mean, like, because this is his mom. He became obsessed
Yeah, of course.
with trying to show her concrete evidence
Yeah.
that this wasn't it. Yeah, definitely. Behind the scenes, we'll give
Yeah.
you some of those details.
It'd be interesting.
Well,
Oh, it's so tough hearing that story too, because it's like I care so much about my parents, but I'm realizing like how much education could I possibly give them at this point? Like, because there's so much happening so quickly, and thankfully, my mom just last night, she texted me one of the USPS phishing text messages, and she said, "I don't think this is legitimate, but you've trained me not to, click
yes,
anything." And
yes,
so I felt like that was a small win because she was asking. Same with my mother-in-law, but it's scary out there.
and they're being bombarded. They're being targeted. You know,
Yeah.
a friend of mine, he's getting targeted by, he's older, by PayPal emails.
Hmm.
But you
And
need
they're
to,
from actual PayPal, I bet.
yes, from PayPal that says you owe this person $1,200, this person
Yeah.
$800, or whatever it is. And of course he's sending them all to me, and I'm like, and you know what? And it's from PayPal. You know,
Yep.
it's
Oh, that one
nuts.
makes me so angry. It's been over 2 years that that's been happening. I've contacted them about it. I've told a bunch of people about it, and they just do nothing. The way it works really quickly is, from their perspective, a small business owner, somebody who has a store, you can invoice somebody through PayPal to
Right.
collect payment, and that's a very legitimate use case. Well, you can type whatever you want in the description, and so you can just say, this is a fraudulent charge. You need to call 1-800 blah 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 to cancel it. Well, that 1-800 number is not PayPal, but it comes from PayPal, and it looks legitimate because it is. It's a legitimate
It is.
invoice from PayPal. Scammers just exploit it. It makes me frustrated that they won't fix it. Maybe
But
we can put a fire under them, Kim. I don't know.
yeah, maybe you know what? I'll call him. We'll send him this.
Yeah,
Okay, listen. You got me.
call them up.
I got 6 million listeners a week. You got
Yeah,
Kitboga with, I don't know, 20 gazillion views and everything like that every week.
who knows?
I mean, so, let's get it in gear. Um,
Yeah.
I'm proud of what you're doing. And,
Thank you. I was
it,
about to say thank you for educating folks on this too. Not
but,
enough people are doing about it.
if there's ever anything that I can do, and I'm going to hook you up with that, the Nigerian, that would be really
Yeah,
fascinating, to see if that, it was in Lagos or Lagos. Is that how you pronounce it?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Maybe
Interesting.
wouldn't
We're
that be?
narrowing it down.
Yes, we're going,
Interesting.
keep going down into the little villages. Um,
Of
it-
course, there could be multiple hair salons
I'm
there,
sure
but
there is,
we'll
and
see.
multiple scammers in hair salons, but wouldn't that be something? Um,
Yeah,
what I told this gentleman that I would do with his mom is that I would actually go over to her. She lives in Phoenix.
yeah,
So I said, I'll go over with some coffee and donuts, and maybe I can have a
yeah.
little girl talk with her one on one, to
Hmm.
see if to see if we can maybe divert her
Could
attention
I
to other places.
offer one thing, only if it makes sense, Kim? I don't want to overstep. I wonder if I bait the same scammer or account as my Edna, my grandma character on
Yeah.
Facebook, and see if this guy also starts a relationship with me. And then you could show, like, look,
Oh.
he's doing it to other people.
Oh,
I
you
don't
know
know if that
what?
would help.
No, that's
It's
so
just an idea.
smart. Because then I can show her that. Because
I mean, it might hurt, but at least at a minimum, even if she still believes even if she doesn't think it's a scam, at least it's like, well, he's cheating on you. Like it's
yeah,
another reason to
you know what? Let's
call.
try that. Let's try
Yeah,
that. Because
I'd
I have been
be
thinking
open to
about,
it.
like, what can I bring to her? What can I show her other than just, talk to her and say, this is what I've heard,
Yeah,
this is what I know, this is, I've spoken to the director of the FBI. I mean, I'm all immersed in
yeah,
this, and I'm trying to work with folks in Washington to spread the word that these scams are happening, which is like a whole nother issue, which I don't know why
yeah.
the government isn't doing anything. Um, uh,
I think they're overwhelmed.
yeah, they
Is
probably are.
is what I
They
understand.
probably
I
are.
mean, you just think about you mentioned just the sheer volume of scams that are going on right now. and everyone says go to ic3.gov or file a police report. And well, now what? When thousands of these happen a day?
Yeah.
Like, I do know that those reports get looked at, particularly when it's like, when they're forming a big case, and like it's easier now to say, 100 people all got targeted by the same group.
Mm-hmm.
Now they can get charges that really stick on someone. So it is good to report. But yeah, I would love to. Likewise, I'd love to, do anything I can to help, and really appreciate what you're doing. Perhaps we could. I'm just dreaming here, but maybe there is a bit of a story of we could work on baiting that scammer together. And
I would love to do that. I would love to do that. Love to do that.
Do we make a fake Kim command? Do we make another alternate profile for you?
Yeah, we can do that too. Absolutely. Well, Kitboga, always a pleasure to have you with us.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here. And let's do it. Let's do it. Let's bring the guy down.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Awesome.
You got it.
This program is a copyrighted production of Westar Multimedia Entertainment and protected by the copyright laws. Any rebroadcast or use of this program for commercial, business, economic, or financial purposes without the written permission of Westar Multimedia Entertainment is strictly prohibited.